Today, we will dive into one of the most unsettling questions that has crossed every human mind. Where are the dead at this very moment? Are they watching us? Can they communicate with us? Where did they go after leaving this world? Get ready, because what you are about to discover could change your perspective on life and death forever. Some people believe that death is the absolute end, a state of non-existence where consciousness fades away like a candle in the dark. Others argue that death is merely a transition, a step into a new reality that transcends the physical world. Since ancient times, civilizations have sought to answer this great mystery, and today we will explore not only what ancient scriptures say but also the most shocking testimonies of those who have been on the brink of death and returned to tell their story. The Bible presents us with various perspectives on the state of the dead. Ecclesiastes 9 verse 5 states, "The living know that they will die, but the dead know nothing." This suggests a state of total unconsciousness. However, other passages show us something very different. In Luke 16 verses 19 to 31, Jesus tells the story of the rich man and Lazarus, revealing that the dead are fully aware of their fate. The rich man awakens in a place of torment, while Lazarus is taken to a place of rest and peace. Could it be that, at the very moment we leave this world, we awaken in a completely different reality? When Jesus was on the cross, he said to the repentant thief, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." Luke 23 verse 43. This implies that existence does not cease with death. So, if the dead continue to exist in another dimension, can they see us? Hebrews 12 verse 1 speaks of a great cloud of witnesses, which many interpret as the souls of those who have gone before us. Could it be that, at this very moment, someone who left your life is watching you from beyond? But here's a disturbing detail. The Bible warns against attempting to communicate with the dead. In Deuteronomy 18 verses 10 to 12, God explicitly forbids consulting spirits. What danger lies in this practice? Could it be that those who respond to such calls are not really our loved ones, but entities of a different nature? Beyond the Bible, other ancient texts, such as the Book of Enoch, offer disturbing visions of the afterlife. Enoch describes places of waiting, where souls await the final judgment. Some rest in peace, while others remain in a state of torment, fully aware of their eternal fate. This description aligns with the experiences of many people who have been clinically dead and returned with terrifying or enlightening accounts. Science has attempted to explain these near-death experiences. Some testimonies describe the sensation of leaving the body, traveling through a tunnel of light, and encountering spiritual beings. Others have gone through distressing experiences where darkness and fear surrounded them. Are these merely illusions created by a dying brain, or evidence of a reality that transcends death? But if death is not the end, if there truly is something beyond the veil of the visible, then an inevitable question arises. Are we prepared for what comes next? Some people have experienced inexplicable events, moments when they feel a presence nearby, hear whispering voices at night, or even dream of their deceased loved ones. Is this merely a product of our imagination, a deep desire to reconnect with them, or is there truly something more? Paranormal investigators have collected hundreds of testimonies of apparitions, voices captured in recordings, and objects moving without explanation. Places where energy seems to linger, where shadows appear to have a life of their own. The question is inevitable. Are the dead trying to communicate with us, or are there entities of another nature pretending to be them? Accounts of near-death experiences reveal two sides of the same coin. Some describe a place of indescribable light, absolute peace, and the sensation of being surrounded by love. Others, however, recount terrifying experiences where darkness engulfs them and desperate screams surround them. This leads us to an even deeper question. If the destination after death is not the same for everyone, what determines where we go? The idea that life is merely a test, a stage where every decision brings us closer to or further from our eternal destiny, is a haunting thought. Are we truly living as if eternity depended on it? How often do we worry more about the immediate, the superficial, forgetting that perhaps, after our last breath, we will face a reality from which there is no return? The great sages of history have spoken about this. From Buddha to Jesus, from Sufi mystics to ancient Greek philosophers, all have insisted that death is not the end but a transition into something greater. But what that something is seems to depend on how we live our lives here and now. So, I ask you, are you prepared for what comes next? If tomorrow were your last day, would you be at peace with the choices you've made? But this leads us to an even deeper reflection. If there is something beyond death, if our existence does not end with our last breath, then what are we doing with the life we have now? Too often, we live as if we were eternal, as if time were guaranteed. We postpone apologies that never come, hugs we don't give, words we hold back out of pride. But what if you knew you only had one day left? Who would you call? What would you do differently? The stories of those who have been on the brink of death reveal something unsettling. When they feel their time running out, what they regret the most are not their mistakes or failures, but everything they left undone. The, "I wish I had said it, I wish I had tried, I wish I had loved more." And if death is not the end, if our consciousness continues to exist in another dimension, then what we do here may have an eternal impact. Are we building something that transcends? Or are we simply letting life slip away in routine, in the superficial, in the immediate? The great sages of history have expressed it in different ways. The purpose of life is not to accumulate, but to evolve. It is not to fear death, but to live in such a way that when it comes, we have nothing to regret. We may never have definitive answers about what happens after death. But there is one thing we can control: how we choose to live today. If this message resonated with you, if you've ever felt the presence of someone who is no longer here, or if you have a story to share, leave it in the comments. Because the most important thing is not just discovering what comes after, but ensuring that when the time arrives, we can look back and say, "I lived fully." Subscribe for more reflections like this, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and remember, death may be a mystery, but life remains our greatest opportunity. See you in the next enigma.